College is often the equivalent to a full-time job for students when you take into consideration the number of hours they're spending in class and the amount of hours that they're spending studying. That means that they can only work part-time, non-essential jobs in most cases. It's highly recommended to not touch your face right now because your eyes, nose, and mouth are key routes for this virus to find its way inside of you. We touch a lot of germy surfaces throughout the day, which cling to the oil on our hands, making hand washing extra important.
Make sure you wash your hands very well. And the word to the wise is if you can sing in your head happy birthday twice is about the right amount of time to make sure that we keep everything clean on the hands.
But good hand washing only goes so far. You return to your workstation, send a few emails, and check Facebook on your smartphone. Suddenly your forehead itches. All of that hand washing just went down the drain. This past Friday, I did an experiment on myself to see how many times I touched my face in 1 hour. And I did it 7 times. So how many times an hour do KIMT News 3 anchors George Mallet and Katie Lang think that they touch their face? Well, let's head out to the newsroom and find out.
In an hour?
Yeah.
Probably less than 2 times.
I'm going to guess that I touch my face 7 times an hour. Just a guess, about 7 times an hour.
The Mayo Clinic says we actually touch our faces anywhere from 3 to 30 times an hour. So how can you kick the habit? Number 1, wear a head net, just like beekeepers use. It's a great, inexpensive physical barrier that's easy to see through. Number 2, counter the habit. When you see your hand reach up, scratch the back of your head instead. And number 3, be mindful. You notice the itch, but pretend it was never there. Well, you can also wear a face mask just like this one, but let's say you touch your face in the process of taking the mask on or off. Well, you've already contaminated it. It's been nearly 2 weeks since Governor Walz declared you can't go inside of your favorite eatery, but a recent study shows that Minnesotans aren't about to go without their favorite grub.
We've tried to hit up those places once a week, if not more.
We've replaced dine-in with carry-out across America. A study used geotagging and Twitter hashtags to figure out where carryout is king. Minnesota is number 1. Nebraska, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Virginia round out the top 5 states. Jake Weemy is fearless about buying fast food.
Just watching how Chipotle was handling, I think they've done a really good job of trying to make sure that there's as little contact as possible, keeping people away from the food or from each other.
Eric Gatz, a Rochester DoorDasher, has seen a real hunger for food delivered to the door.
We've definitely seen an increase, but on some days there's been a little bit of a lull here and there because there are a lot more people out dashing.
Gatz and his fellow delivery drivers earn a nominal base pay, which is barely enough to cover fuel and vehicle maintenance. He'd like patrons to get off their wallets and step it up on the tip front.
If we were just to try to survive off of what's called the base pay DoorDash gives us, it would barely pay for our gas and it wouldn't even pay for our time. Whereas the people who really are excited to have us come there will leave at least some kind of a decent tip for us to make sure we get the food there, make sure we get it to them quickly, and make sure that we're excited to make that delivery.
Now, Eric also told me that he has a heart for helping people and a family to provide for. That's why he continues to put his health at risk to get your next meal to you. Katie George.
It's not everybody, but almost every business owner in the United States right now has the equivalent of a lottery ticket in their pocket.
It allows businesses to get through this difficult time while they try to stay afloat during the coronavirus pandemic and to continue paying their employees. It's all a part of the Small Business Administration's Paycheck Protection Program, a $349 billion stimulus package geared toward small businesses in your community with less than 500 employees that has encountered a hardship from COVID-19.
This loan is available to almost every business in the United States. So that money will be used up at some point. So there's kind of a race to try to get these loans applied for and funded.
Tyler Coleman, the vice president at Sterling State Bank in Rochester, says it's a forgivable loan.
If you use the money correctly, as they want you to, then after 8 weeks you prove that you've used the money correctly, and the SBA and the federal government are actually going to forgive that loan or a portion of it.
In other words, keep your payroll, utilities, rent, and mortgage interest the same, and you could end up owing little to nothing. With such favorable terms, the money is going fast. Sterling State Bank has already aided local businesses in excess of $30 million since Friday. And don't worry, They're working around the clock to ensure that you and your business can still thrive.
We've been working here out of one of our branch offices until 2 o'clock at night.
Now, Coleman told me that his biggest concern right now is not enough businesses know about this and are simply passing up on free money.
KIMT News 3's Caleb Gillock joins us with what Byron students are hoping to learn from this. Caleb?
A little bit of a research project for 50 students at Byron High School. There's no better time than now to learn how a pandemic can impact a business. They've launched a research project to see how local businesses are getting through this difficult time, and they need your help.
I just wanted students to reach out to some businesses in our community and see how they're handling things with this.
It's a research project that Byron business teacher Josh Bernards launched on Monday. With students being cooped up at home using distance learning, it's a great way for them to stay focused, connected, and ambitious.
It's kind of tough to gauge their excitement over the internet and posting things online and engaging, but I've gotten a lot of feedback, more feedback from most of the other assignments and things that I'm posting from the students, asking questions about this, that, and the other thing.
So what is it that these students are looking to learn from businesses?
If they're thriving because of it, if they're really struggling and what they would need or what things could be going differently for them and what new ways they've found to do business, because it's a really unique point in time for everyone.
But like with any research project, there's always setbacks. Students are having a difficult time getting a hold of businesses, which could have valuable information for their assignment.
Some of them, it's because they're not, they're not in business right now. They're not an essential business and they're just not operating. Some businesses, I would guess, are pretty busy right now and they're scrambling to make things work.
They say that Yellow Jackets take care of their hive, and that's exactly what's happening at RCTC. Thanks to the idea of a faculty member. For students in need, they're willing to bring food from the school pantry to their door.
The idea actually came from a faculty member who had several students reach out to them. And that faculty member even took bags of groceries directly to students and reached out to us.
While the RCTC campus might be relatively empty, it's more important to keep the shelves of the college's food pantry, also known as the Hive Supply, fully stocked. Travis Rutt, RCTC's interim student life coordinator, says the pantry existed prior to the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have it throughout the whole year. We have one location on main campus and another location at our Heights Center building.
But students are perhaps relying on the cupboard more than ever. They've been giving out free bags of grocery items for students in need. Rebecca Piney is the campus director of Student Rights and Responsibilities. She anticipates an increase in demand.
The form was only live for probably a couple hours yesterday, and we had 5 students request the service. So we are probably looking to see this service increase as we offer it throughout the rest of the academic year.
However, they are afraid some students might be embarrassed to seek help.
They have a lot of pride, they're people. This might be the first time that they're navigating some of these challenges or having to ask for help and support in this way. And I think ultimately what we want is for our students to know that we care about them.
If you're feeling compelled to help, the best way is to donate.
We're always taking donations. We will always take donations. I took a donation earlier today, so don't get me wrong there. This is a donation-run Hive Supply and a donation-ran resource for our students.
There's also a Yellow Jacket Emergency Support Fund that funds the pantry, but also grants for students needing help with bills, rent, and other emergency expenses.